Hello, hello, everyone. I want to do a reading with the chakra mat to look at if collectively we are all on our own journey, but collectively we're in a certain spot in the root chakra. Okay. And there's an attempt to keep us there. So, going off of that notion, I want to go through this mat. And I don't usually do this. I never have done this before. I'm gonna mix all three of the decks so that we get a different type of variety than we're used to getting. Because I feel like that also represents like the collective consciousness element of it. As always, this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not facts. All right, I think I'm gonna shuffle all three, starting by like taking a little bit off the top of each one. Let me cut the, hold on. Okay, that was Con Man. That fell on the floor. Let me cut these so nobody says I stacked them. Okay. Let's do the first round with these. Starting with the crown chakra. Government, privilege abuse in reverse, and reputation laundering in reverse. Yikes. In the crown chakra. All right, so this map is going to essentially be sorry, my leg is stuck. What walked us to where we are right now, which I believe is right here under this surface. So the crown chakra part of this, which wasn't recently, this was way up the ladder, so to speak, is when they really couldn't hide Epstein, they really couldn't hide it anymore. It was time for us to see clearly. Reputation laundering in reverse. There's no way to fix your reputation. We can't unsee. There's no way to get the whole collective jointly back on their side. Like there's too many people who refuse to unsee what they saw, even if there are people who are still making excuses somehow and pretending that things are fine or normal. There's too many people that won't and can't. So that's this. It's like there's no going back. We've crossed a very clear line here. So give me one main energy for this as it pertains to the crown chakra on our walk towards the root chakra right now. New World Order. Gotcha. Third eye. Cognitive dissonance in reverse. Again, clarity, seeing things clearly. Does it make it better or worse? Worse. I gotta get different curtains in here. I think that's the problem. Okay, anyway. Seeing something clearly. Moral disengagement in reverse. Guilty in reverse. Learned helplessness in reverse. We clearly have to help ourselves to a not guilty. We have to help ourselves to immunity, because if justice were to help us to, okay, when I'm saying us, I'm meaning the government right now. allegedly. It's like, we need to help ourselves to freedom, because if we let the actual system that we're supposed to be serving, well, the people that we're supposed to be serving and the system that's supposed to be working for those people, if we let that determine what happens, we're gonna get sent to jail. So we need to take justice, or take the lack of justice in our own hands. But we need to do it very clearly in front of everybody's face. So give me an energy for the third eye with that then. Retaliation. Retaliation as in, that's why this is all happening, because they did all of that to get away with it, so how dare Iran go to expose them? No. Okay. Retaliation on what then? Movie or TV reference? What movie or TV reference? Viral? Give me 3 cards for the current viral TV or movie reference that goes along with what retaliation means. That's separate, so I don't forget what card we're talking about. 3 cards. 1. Does some come out? No. A ghost card? Disposing of evidence. Oh. Huh. Trigger event. Oh, what's this other card? Institutional immunity in reverse? Oh, wait, I need to use my other phone. Okay. What's a popular TV or movie currently running or not running anymore, but it was and still is very popular, that has something to do with someone in power who should have had immunity for something that ended up not having immunity for it, like getting something happening that they were told couldn't happen to them. And there's some big point about disposing of evidence and a trigger event that has something to do with a breaking of a pattern. So whoever this person is or whatever happened, it would have been very out of the ordinary and like unheard of for it to happen to someone in this particular position. The Diplomat came out, but came out again. It came out in the other reading. What was that, yesterday or something that I did, and I tried and I got this card and got the movie reference. That's why I put this card in the deck, because I wanted a card to tell me when to shoot over and find a reference. Anyway, so if we already did that, then the second reference, because that's still the first reference, the Diplomat, but we did that already, and we looked into the last episode. So in order to get to whatever I talked about in that reading that I referenced that, which had something to do with the 13th and the 14th of this month. So the second one is House of Cards, the second reference. Almost entirely about powerful politicians believing they're untouchable. Well, we're on the right track there. In hiding in reverse, in plain sight. Yep, we got that. Frank Underwood repeatedly commits crimes while assuming his political power gives him de facto immunity. Restricted area, the island. The story repeatedly includes disposing of evidence, manipulating investigations, and moments where the normal political rules suddenly break, threatening the entire structure he built. Something threatening the way that they hid the files. But that would have to be exposure from the other side, because what else would threaten that? Besides, like, here's hard proof that you were lying, but the hard proof that they're lying would be the truth with factual backing evidence that shows it, you know what I mean? Because at this point, we're not taking anybody's word for anything. It's gotta be, like, show you we're gonna have to see visible proof. Besides, like, stuff we know that they did, right? But, like, we can now see that for the majority of people to all get on board with the same thing, they're gonna have to they're gonna have to see it, and if it's something coming from another side or an outside source, they're gonna come with receipts is essentially what I'm trying to get at. Um, what happened in the latest episode of House of Cards, and when did it air? Sorry, I just had a little minor surgery yesterday, and my neck is still kinda, like, crampy. So if you see me stiff and weird today, that's why. Anyway, the latest episode was actually the series finale called Chapter 73. Season 6, episode 8. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So that to February. Wait, did I do that math wrong? 14 months. 14. 14's a year and 2 months. Chapter 73. Who was the 37th president? Nixon? Opening relations with China and the Watergate scandal. The waters are about to burst. Oh, we're about to have some major conflict in the water. I think we're going to try and push our way through the Strait of Hormuz, and it's not going to go well. Hidden agenda, because it's on purpose to escalate. Interrogation. They want to know what the enemy wants from our soldiers under interrogation, so they need to let it happen so that they can know what information they're seeking. Mental break in reverse. I have a feeling that the US thinks that we have someone on the inside that isn't actually on our side, but they allowed them to prove their loyalty up until a certain point to make us think that they were actually a hidden ally when they never were. And I'm pretty sure they're feeding us bad intel right now. Call log. want ourselves to the biggest degree possible, but while simultaneously playing with human lives to do it in plain sight. Investigations revealed attempts to cover up the crime and obstruct justice. Facing almost certain impeachment, Nixon resigned from office on August 9th, 1974, becoming the only U.S. president ever to resign. And that's the reference we got. Huh. After he left office, the next president gave him a full presidential pardon. I bet you one day when we find out that Trump had a pardon in place, we're gonna find out that it was dated before his term was actually over. Human error. I'm not gonna explain that further right now. I just wanted to say it for the record. Opening relations with China. He made a historic visit to the People's Republic of China in 1972, which dramatically changed global diplomacy during the Cold War. So we're going opposite. Something is about to happen between us and China. Yes. And that's when my computer decided to blink. China has no interest in booming either. China has every interest in laughing at us while we live without the things that we've learned to rely on the most for comfort, and that we're very in their eyes and mine, we're unappreciative about. Like, we don't appreciate the luxuries we have, but watch how quickly we freak out without them. That's the game that China wants to play, and China has entered the chat. One hand washes another. Oh, that's not good. What's on the bottom? Ransom demand in reverse. And they don't want anything from us. You want to cut us off? Go ahead. They literally, I don't think could care any less if they tried to care less. I don't think they could. And I know that I know that we do trade and all the money and all this and all that, but when if you're looking at this as a business, which these leaders are looking at their countries as businesses to some degree or to every degree. Once someone becomes that big of a liability, it stops mattering how much money you're making from them if they have the potential to quite literally make you lose everything you worked for. That is how the US is being looked at right now. Manipulation. This way would be nerves, like you're getting on my nerves, annoying little brother, right? That would be China being like, like let's just back up a little bit. Let's hit you with like a 5% tariff or like, push you away. This is like I quite literally see your game and I'm not playing it. And by the way, I can play it better than you. That's China to the US. They're not having it. And I really think it has a lot to do with whatever's happening the 13th and 14th, because the US is crossing some kind of line, and everyone that's been like not on the fence, but just like waiting for the reason, we're about to give them the reason they've been waiting for, to be like, okay, you're a child, that's enough, to the US government. Rights. It's the Constitution and the flag. And that's when they're gonna have to start to whoop our rights. So I don't know what that noise was, but it kinda hurt. And it kinda, like, took my breath away. What was that? Like a water thing? I don't think I've ever made that noise in my life. What was that? Woo-hoo? I can't even do it again. Whoop. Was that it? Water. Something about water. Something about water is happening the 13th and 14th, and it's the line drawn in the sand for everyone who is sick of dealing with the US's childish behavior. Insider silence. Meaning what? Outrage cycle in reverse. We're about to experience that moment that everyone could hear a pin drop. Manufactured consent in reverse. We didn't sign up for this. Confirm. We're about to see the pin drop moment between the 13th and a week from the 13th. So the 20th. 13, 20, 27. 13, 20, 27, 3. It's between the 13th and the 20th. We're about to have a moment that you could hear a pin drop, and it's going to be the line drawn in the sand where the other countries are like, okay, literally enough. We're not dealing with this anymore. Stolen identity. And it's gonna be where there's no other option than for them to just basically start telling us, yeah, this is Izzy now. Audio recording in reverse, saying the quiet part out loud. Justice delayed in reverse. Justice is here. I mean, it's God's plan, but man is the one that's making the free will decision to enact what God knew would happen, because there was a knowledge that the people would go against and be deceived, and there had to be a test and a deception. Smoke screen. Yeah, it's just a smoke screen though. It's a do you really believe in God? But God finds a way to give a opportunity and a path for each person to understand, to come to their own understanding individually. The words that humans use don't matter. The ways that people tell you you can and should and can and cannot have a relationship with God, that doesn't matter. And if you follow God long enough, you'll be shown that like there's spiritual authority in you developing your own relationship with God. It really doesn't matter what any other human person thinks about it, because if you really in your heart are seeking God, you will find your way. So it's a smokescreen to test how far into your heart did you go, because you will have to do the work. It's not easy, but that's the purpose. Crisis actor in reverse. Yeah, that's why we're here. We're the main character in our own story. And right now, are we collectively being the main character in our own story? Or are we letting a bunch of really angry men who can't sit down in a room and discuss things without either throwing hands, yelling, hiding stuff, lying, putting big black boxes on entire sheets of writing like we're stupid? Like, why even give it to us? You know what I mean? And then, oh, we can take the boxes off anyway. Oh, now we're playing a game in regard to whether or not you abused literal babies. Are we being the main character, or are we allowing these psychopaths to be the main character? So that's third eye. Let's get a new pile. Throat. Let me shuffle it good for a second. Throat chakra. Mind control in reverse, high vibes in reverse, biology, chemistry, scientific. $6 years to test out if it works. I'm going somewhere. Just give me a minute. Female. Oh my God. COVID. Test of something. Finalization of a hypothesis. Handover. Evil demonic in reverse. As in exposed. Fear in reverse. When they say peace and safety, it's this in disguise. Trash in reverse. Trash is coming in. They ran some kind of cycle that started with COVID, specifically the VAX. It needed to run for a certain amount of time. They got their answer and they're in the middle of the handoff. They're going to have to do something to cross the line so that we can escalate and allow the handoff to take place. That's why Trump is being so bold, because he is making himself a target on purpose. It's not to it's not to actually be the hero. It's setting himself up to be the martyr. Solved. Heart chakra. I kind of want to say heart chakra from a closed heart perspective. So like those who can really see what's going on, this might not apply as much to those who aren't seeing it. I feel like this can be a message for those who need to hear something to shift them to see the truth. If that makes sense. I mean, not that it doesn't apply to everybody, but I don't know. Okay, heart chakra. Ground search in reverse, archive room, perjury risk. Heart chakra. Yeah, another country is gonna bring something forward. This is exposure. We don't have to worry about a big boom boom first. It's definitely not coming allegedly until after exposure first, at least. That is their number one goal. That's like the martyr. That's like what their whole religion is based on, is this holy war. Foreign escalation in reverse. It's war in reverse. They've been waiting. Foreign escalation in reverse. We've been waiting for you to come over to our house, and now you're here. And if you're thinking biblical and the water breaking, what would be symbolic of that right now? Us trying to get through that channel when we now have proof, because they just boomed someone else up. We have proof we're not getting through. If we go to get through, there's your water breaking, allegedly. Behavioral forecast in reverse. An event like we've never seen before. Entertainment industry in reverse. There's a line from one of my poems, and it says, "We're watching the Bible play out live, but won't believe it till it's gory." End game setup in reverse. It's what their whole religion is based on. They've been setting up for it from the start. And we just had someone jump in the driver's seat that's like, "Oh, this seems like a good idea today," when they literally have an entire religion that has a strategy to be implemented for literally what's happening right now. That's been in place for longer than we've been alive, any of us. Any of you that's watching this right now, their strategy for what's happening right now has been in place longer. US's strategy, we don't have one yet. So, adversary. We are our own worst enemy. We don't have to worry about foreign enemies when our biggest one is in the house. Internal threat in reverse. It's Judas. Let's go to the next one. Solar plexus. Unknown. Arrest warrant in reverse. Oh, solar plexus, darkness, arrest warrant in reverse. You're not getting anything else from the Epstein files. They need a reason to get all the powerful people into bunkers at once. That's why we need to escalate in the Strait of Hormuz. The tyrant in reverse. The tyrant in reverse, meaning we need to find a way to say, well, it's not our fault. They did this, even though they literally told us, if you do this, this will happen. And then somebody else tried it and they confirmed that if somebody does that, they boom you. And we are going to go and try and do it anyway. Adrenaline rush in reverse, a crash. A crash into what? Off grid in reverse, a crash on the grid. They're about to make an example out of us. Like, you of all people are going to try and do this after 1, we told you not to. 2, you did what you did. And 3, you saw what happened to somebody else and you're literally still going to try it. They're empty promises in reverse. We promised you that if you did that, this is what we would do. And you literally did it anyway after you saw that we were going to hold true to our word. That would be from Iran, the US. Hidden missing key revealed. That's why it has to be so obvious. Because it has to be a free will decision. Because if there's an option to stand down for the soldiers, even if it's difficult, even if it comes with consequences, it still is an option. And to avoid the free will thing, they have to knowingly know what they're going into. So now that they've seen somebody else get blown, now if they go, they've seen the promises, they've seen the pattern, they've seen the escalation, they've seen that they're not joking about it. If they go, it voids the free will. It allows them to fill that position. As like, because for people to play, think of it like this, for people to play actors in their inversion of the Bible, they're inverting God's plan. But for anyone to play a role in it, they need to use their free will to say yes, right? So if the soldiers see that if we go there, we're gonna get blown up, they're already mad at us. We blew up their girls' school. They showed us that they're not joking, and we're gonna go do it anyway. They know the outcome. They know the consequence, and if they sign up for it anyway, it allows them to be used in that part in the inversion. Narrative fatigue. They have to escalate. Because everyone's looking at this right now saying, "What is the reason? What is the reason we're not doing this anymore? We don't see a reason. We don't see a reason." They need to be like, "Here's your reason. Here's your reason. A little close to home now, isn't it? Here's your reason." They need to do that, allegedly. Desert mirage. You see it and it's not there. What? Confession. We don't have the weaponry to hold up to it. We don't have the weaponry to defend against whatever it is that they have. I don't know if it's like a gas. Has there been any type of gas used in war that does something destabilizing to a big group of people, but not in a confined space, more in like an open air type space, like renders people not dead, but maybe like temporarily paralyzed or something, but not in a building, like outside? Has it ever been used before? Yes. They behave very differently depending on wind, temperature, concentration. Most were developed for battlefields rather than confined spaces. Nerve agents with paralyzing effects. Oh my god. It's like they're gonna use on our soldiers what our people in charge were planning to and willing to use on us as citizens. Confession again. Riot control agents, temporary incapacitation, CS gas and CN gas. It's hard to reliably incapacitate large outdoor populations without lethal risk. For that reason, most chemical weapons historically caused serious injury or death, not just temporary paralysis. The reading that I did where I was seeing I just got really lightheaded. Where I was seeing like, not like a lot, like not now, but like in a wave. Oh, maybe because I was just in that energy of the gas thing. I'm getting something about a gas agent and something about, like, the neck. Like, I don't know if it's like temporary. It gives the vibe of this. We're using what you were willing to use against your own people, but we're increasing the strength since these are trained soldiers. Physical evidence. Oh my god. Should I say that? This is giving me a headache. Secret on the bottom. Would it be fair to say that the US sold stuff to other places that we were actually compiling to use on our own people, but we sold it and they just made it a little stronger and they're going to use it to make an example out of what our leadership was willing to do to us, but they're doing the example of our soldiers because they know that our leadership knows what they're sending the soldiers into. Danger, yeah, literally that. Meeting in reverse. Danger, it isn't even close. We've been lapped. We've been lapped and lapped and lapped, and we are sending our soldiers in to pay the consequence of that. Witness. Because they want us to see it. Spiritually, what does the front left part of the forehead above the eyebrow represent? I know the third eye. No, not the third eye. Like literally the spot right above the eyebrow. If there was to be headache or tension there, what could that be representing? Like out of nowhere, sharp tension. Mental pressure or overthinking. Emotional tension trying to surface. So tension in the water. They're brewing up tension in the water so that something gets to the point of overload and the pressure explodes like a volcano. Nervous system stress response because they need our nervous system under their control. They've been working it up to get to this point. School. We are about to be taught the lesson of a lifetime in the most unpleasant way because we didn't stand up and stop this. Organized crime in reverse. Because we failed to see that a group of individuals who can't even release the details of what they did because it would collapse the whole structure. That should have been when we fired them. Hey, you can't even tell us the truth about what you did because there's no doubt in your mind that we would not be okay with it to the point where we would collectively overthrow you and the whole system would collapse. The option then isn't just to not show it because that doesn't make it not exist. The option is to take action to correct what they broke. But we're not doing that. And other countries see we're not doing that, but they also see the wealth in the land and the buildup in the land and the minds of some of the people that got it to there, and they would like some of that for them. They would like some of the land, they would like some of the mines, they would like some of the inventions that they don't have yet if they don't have those, or they would like to make theirs better by getting ours and studying it in a way that they couldn't when they were separate from us. And our government is all wrapped up in what we know that they did, as they literally show us images and then stand right next to the images and say, "But I never did that." Or take one out of the Clintons' playbook, and they don't remember a single thing that ever happened in their life, apparently, despite both of them writing books that were about their memory recollection of something that they made millions of dollars off of. Can't remember anything else, though. And for some reason, we're just we're just waking up every day, and not a single person in the government or in Congress has even like a bone spur of a backbone. The mounting evidence and them telling us to our faces, "We can't really show you because this would all collapse." That that was the line in the sand. We're just sitting here waiting for someone else to come across the line, and take care of us. And since we're doing that, that's going to happen, except not in the way that we like. Because it's someone from over there coming in saying, "Oh, peace and safety," because at this point, anything's better than what we have. I mean, they eat children, so the bar is quite literally in hell. Can't get worse, really, except it can, because this is like a permanent state of just numbness and disconnection from God so that we never ascend. Because the devil's greatest trick, convince everyone that he's not real and that there's nothing to actually gain or lose when there actually is. And it's so much of a longer game than we are taking into account in our lifespan, that we're not realizing the devil's been playing this since the beginning of time. He's not new to this. This is all part of strategy implemented to try and turn people against God. So if you think of the devil's ultimate plan is to turn people against God, one, convince everyone that you're not real and there's nothing at stake in the first place. That takes a good chunk of the problem away. Two, get people to not be able to get close to God or ascend. What's a really good way in today's society to do that? AI. Let's literally get it to the point where we can hook people up, mark of the beast, so that we can disconnect or try to sever their connection from God. Because all of this has been to try and sever the connection, and some people it worked for, and some people are still connected. So since the devil was unable to permanently disconnect everyone, there needs to be something in place that keeps people from ascending. That's where they're trying to get it to. And the next step towards that is when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh. Why does sudden destruction cometh? Because the sudden destruction isn't something that it's going to be outside everyone's looking for. It's going to be the trap that we fell into. Blackmail paid off in reverse because our entire government sold us out so that they wouldn't get held responsible for literally eating children. Active pursuit. Let's say you work for a company and your boss thinks that, hold on. How do I explain this? Okay, forget the build up because I'm going to confuse myself. You work for a company, you did something real bad. The company is switching owners, okay? So you were like a manager or something. The company is switching owners. And there was a deal that the new owner wanted to look really, really good coming in. So they wanted the previous owner to destroy everything slowly but surely, and then quickly all at once before they left, so that when they came in, they looked like the good guy because they knew that they wanted to slowly take away the lunch break time and increase the work hours and increase the load, but slowly up down the pay or start to take more out of the pay for like random things like but then make the people kind of sign a contract that they need to continue working there for X amount of time or they owe this amount of money back. Okay. The new boss wanted to do that, but he needed to come in and look like the good guy so that people wouldn't see the play that was happening, right? So the new owner needed the old manager to, on the way out, really mess things up so that it was like, oh, this is so much better. Everything seems great now. And they wouldn't realize the trap that was slowly happening, right? So how do I word that part? The Another company over there is watching all this happening and is watching the manager break the law to make it as bad as possible. And they're like, hold on. They got good things by bending the rules and breaking the law, and that's not fair because we can't do that, and we don't do that. So now we want company over there, or whatever, wants to hold bad guy responsible, right? So bad guy is really the manager that was doing it on behalf of the incoming CEO, but manager doesn't really understand that. So manager is actually the fall guy, the one that's going to be held responsible because the other companies over there are mad at the bad company and they need a fall guy. Emergency call in reverse. But they first need the fall guy to have things in a state of emergency so that emergency powers are already seized and the new incoming CEO doesn't need to seize them, but is walking into them already seized. Shadow figure. They have to escalate at the street or in Iran because they need us to be in some kind of martial law. Disputed story. They need what would be like what is like martial law? Like it allows executive powers to be seized or something, but it's not literally martial law. M Maybe it's something that would be disguised as not that serious, but is more serious or something? Or, like, has more serious implications the longer that it lasts or something? National emergency. Oh, it's been 6 years exactly since the COVID national emergency on Friday the 13th. Unsealed records in reverse. Anything but those Epstein files. Barred entry. Sorry, I need to crack my neck and I don't feel like stopping the camera. Okay. When this happens, it activates dozens of existing emergency powers that already exist in federal law, redirecting military construction funds. They don't need martial law. They just need a national emergency, and they're about to cause one. Identity reset in reverse so that they can show us that this is for Izzy. Oh. Poke the bear, call national emergency, then go in, get ambushed. No. Scratch that. cause an issue in the port, in the pass by, because that's the water breaking. Then, as retaliation of that, something happens in Izzy, but it's really Izzy doing it to Izzy, but made to look like it's them retaliating further for what they're actually just taking care of in the strait itself. But they're going to make it look like they're further escalating into Izzy. And then at that time, US is going to go into the trap in Iran, because they need it to be known that it's happening for Izzy and not for US. Secret. No, not anymore. Controlling certain financial transactions. And there you go, digital ID. If it's your endless war, that makes that very easy. Sorry, my head is like, I don't know if it's from this reading or from the surgery or both, but holy crap. I really want to finish this in one go, though, so don't mind my head rubbing. Restricting travel or trade, that takes care of China. Oh, we're mad at China. China's not mad at us. No, China's mad at us. They're cutting us off first. They're just not making a spectacle of it because it's playing into how they're going to embarrass us later. Mobilizing resources quickly. Well, we're not going to have that many left, so. Presidents from both parties have declared national emergencies. Some technically stay active for years unless Congress votes to end them. Well, we don't really use Congress anymore, so. Insurrection Act allows the president to deploy military inside the country. As above, so below. It's spiritual warfare. They're happening right around the same time. Pattern exposure in reverse. What's the hidden pattern? Hall of Mirrors in reverse. We've never seen the illusion shatter in the way that we're about to. Coordinated messaging in reverse. The news isn't even going to be able to lie about it. Oh. Q pop. Pop? Oh, pop. Q Project Bluebeam. Golden parachute. Golden parachutes were like, oh, we're going to throw this out there. We'll get something good out of it, even if something goes bad. Oh, the timing is going to be so obvious, though. That's insurrection. State authorities cannot control. Oh, it happens when. Oh, happens to restore order if states cannot control violence. Federal law cannot be enforced. Sneaky link. What federal law are they going to utilize it not being enforced to help with the defense of whatever they're putting in place? Like, we're doing this because of blank. What's the federal law that they're going to say is not being enforced? Cleanup in reverse, making a mess. That's bold coming from the ones making a mess. So cause, oh. We go cause an issue in the port, in the strait. I know I'm saying these words wrong, and I didn't really, my brain anyway, I'm trying to avoid saying the words that I know that I'm not saying right. Anyway, so in the strait, we cause an issue, and then it's like simultaneously, Izzy and the US has some kind of false FLAG, and then we go escalate because, oh, the Twin Towers. It's symbolic of the Twin Towers. We're approaching the Devil Card series. It starts with the Twin Towers, this portion of the layer of the plan, so to speak. Back then, Twin Towers. Now it's going to be us going and poking the very clear bear that has very clear big boom booms and has very clearly shown they're going to use them. We're just gonna, with our ego, try to swim across. It's not gonna go well. Right after that, Izzy and US, almost simultaneous somethings. We're gonna blame them, even though it's not them. It's us doing it to ourselves, just like the other one is as well, but I digress. So anyway, both of them at the same time, and then we're gonna go all the way escalate it because we know we're going into a trap no matter what, but we have to send them because we have to make sure, and when I'm saying us, I mean the government. I'm just trying to not confuse everyone. I know it's not us as in we, the people with common sense. But they need to buy by them so that they can't expose. So they need a reason to escalate, and the Twin Tower reference is gonna be us and Izzy, simultaneous something happening right after we do something real dumb going across the place where they just showed us not to go across. Secluded area. I wish there was, like, some button I could just go push and be like, "Everybody pause. Let's talk this out." I know that sounds very unrealistic. I get that, but, like, there has to be a better option than this because it's quite literally it, like, wins first prize for the worst out of all of the options. I don't it's like we're trying to get first place on who has the absolute worst strategy known to man, as we quite literally boast about being top dog. And, like, it shut down in reverse. And before I see 800 comments saying I'm emotional, yeah, I am, because I love the United States of America, and I would rather it not completely go to shit, believe it or not. So we're just gonna go to the next one. Me, so hot. I guess I didn't take an even number. The sacral. Oh wait, I didn't finish. No, it's not gonna be something like the Strafford Act or Defense Production Act. Lets the president require company. No, it's something quicker than that. Okay, it's one of those two. One of the first two. Sacral. Diversion tactic, chain of custody in reverse. We're going to lose something as a diversion. What? What are we going to lose as a diversion? Something in the water. Change of plans, revenge in reverse. Or regret in reverse. What did I say? Revenge? No regret. That's very different than revenge. Water, change of plans, no regret. Oh, no revenge would have been better. So, seeking revenge. Seeking revenge, change of plans. We're going bigger than we initially intended. No regrets. It's giving that show that has the tattoo where the guy says no regrets, and it's like R-A grets. It's spelled wrong. Hold on, let me ask Gavin to not swing. I need to put WD-40 on his swing that's in the living room. Hold on one second. Okay. Water, change of plans, no regrets. Something in the water. We're about to do something to give ourselves a reason to go across. Like we're about to do something that makes it look like we're being baited, but we're baiting ourselves. The saboteur. What's our no regrets move? No regrets. What's our move? Shadow authority in reverse. In plain daylight. Violating international law boldly in plain daylight is the quote I'm getting. Control tactic in reverse. You're out of control. We're about to make a move that's absolutely out of control in the Strait of Hormuz. Con man. That shows us how lied to we've been. Negotiation table. It's part of the transfer. Common enemy. Us and Iran have the same enemy. We're a lot closer to the enemy than they are. Abandoned. And that's for the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is turned off. So we're at the root. So we just had the lights turned off on us. We just had the lights turn off on us, and whatever we see happen in that body of water over there, that's going to be the proof that the light is off. Think of inner child being abandoned when they need the love and care the most, or child being abandoned when they need they're trying to make us feel like the abandoned children over there, the children who don't know what to do when their parents are gone, because we are showing them that we're depending way too much on people who eat children. So they're going to make us realize the hard way that was not a good idea. I just moved that card. Federal power in reverse. People who abuse their power. The root chakra. Private investigator in reverse. We're still not seeing what we're stepping into here. Checks and balances in reverse, even though we should, because they're clearly not following the Constitution. Woods concealed, they got it wrong in reverse. They got it right to conceal the Epstein files, if you think of it like this. Because when we do find out what they were hiding from us, when it's revealed to us from another country, we're going to see exactly why they didn't want us to know. And they're trying to make it so that when that happens, we're already in the environmental state of chaos, fear, and surveillance, and whatever else, security, whatever, that we can't do anything about it. Because they know that they can probably convince us to let it go because we're idiots, right? That's what they think. But they know they're not letting these masterminds of, they know that they're not convincing these masterminds of war to let it go. They've showed us that they've already outsmarted us, and we're on what, day 12? They're not even getting started. They're just getting it so that our government runs out of options, so that they make the other people's job easier by them taking away all of the rights so that we can't revolt, because they know that they're going to be exposed. And all of this playing out right now is just to buy themselves time. Inside contact in reverse, because we're not finding out from our own government what they did, but we're finding out at least some of it. But from who we were told was the enemy, because not even they are okay with the depravity that our government was involved with. But they disguise it well, don't they? Shh. One big old giant cult. A cult running a corporation that is going through a leadership change and does not care at all about the employees that are getting changed over to whoever they're making profit off of us from. Search warrant in reverse. That's why they set the precedent with ICE to be able to go into houses. Because some of us they want to keep. The ones with brains, some of the doctors, some of the scientists, some of the engineers, some of the people who study, especially like politics and stuff. They don't want to just boom you. They want you for whatever, I don't know. Hidden pattern in reverse. It's very clear. We're quite literally losing at chess as they are all in a chess tournament. We're losing at checkers at the kids' table as they're all in a chess tournament at the what's that called? Balcony, like looking down laughing at us. Like they literally are looking at our leadership as if they are grown adults with suits on and diapers on the outside of the suits, and they're sitting there playing checkers, trying to be like, "Oh, I'm big bad, checkers," when they know there's like no stakes for that because they're just at the children's table. Motive clear in reverse. Dirty motives. Their motive from the start was self-serving, so they were. We see with our own eyes how self-serving they are. Take even away the Epstein files. Look at their lifestyles. Look at what they have collectively, like on average, what they have versus what the average American that they're supposed to be working for has. They're not supposed to be in this to be rolling in the money. They're supposed to be in it to helping us. So why do they have all the money and we don't have anything? But the other countries that we support, like a stepchild, they have everything that we would love to have over here, but we can't, right? Disinformation. All we get is lied to. Prediction, but we're about to see that very clearly. Overthrow, digital erasure in reverse. Are we really going to let them quite literally just start a world war instead of being held accountable for what they knowingly did to children and babies? Deniable asset. I forget the exact wording, so don't quote me directly, but something, something. And if your government comes to any of these means, all the bad things that they're not supposed to be doing, that they're all doing right now, it is your responsibility to legally and correctly remove them and put someone up who can not do literally everything that they're doing. I don't know. They're showing us to our face what they're doing. They're not abiding by the rules that they set for themselves. And Epstein was a very clear example of that. They set that law and then broke it right in front of our faces. I feel like I'm supposed to use this last little bit here. Energy field. Border crossing, network disruption. Access denied in reverse. Access granted, we're coming. It's like we invade them in person and their beginning of invasion back is like our infrastructure. They're like, we knew you were going to invade this way, but watch, you didn't expect us to invade this way. Panic button, high alert. Because if they don't just boom, boom back, we're going to constantly be on guard. Like, oh my gosh, they've messed up so bad. We're just waiting for it. They want control of our nervous systems. They're playing the long game, and they don't expect us to see that coming because we are so used to leadership that does not play the long game and quite literally cuts off countries like they're like I don't even know, like they're changing their MySpace top 8. Like, I don't want to be friends with you this week. We're going to cut off all trade and put a battle boat on your coastline. Like, that's quite literally loose end in reverse polygraph test. Energy field. We are about to be shown to our face that this is not the USA. This is the United States of America and Izzy. Checkpoint. I have to get off because my headache is like down in my ear now. That has to mean something. Hold on. From the head to the ear. Something that was previously thought about is going to start to be heard. What is it? Propaganda about what? Sacrificial move, emotional exhaustion in reverse, and media reframe. We're going to make some kind of sacrificial move, and it's going to be framed as we had to do this, or we're the heroes, and we are quite literally looking at ourselves, show ourselves that we are the villain. We're holding up the mirror, and it's either you finally see it, or you're not. You're going to fall for the illusion. It's like, I don't know. Empty safe. It's giving, this is the last exit before we get to the next level of new levels, new devils. And it's better to be on God's team going into that next turn. Jurisdiction shopping. Because something's about to hit a little bit too close to home for a lot of people. Because we didn't just believe the victims. I'm going to try and pop on for another one tomorrow, but my face is starting to cramp up. So I'm going to get off. I'm going to try and do a members live later this week, depending on how I'm feeling. I didn't expect for this reading to be this long. And I'm kind of feeling it right now. So I don't know if I'm going to do it because this is just an hour, a little over an hour. So I don't know if it's going to be this week. It might just be next week. So I apologize if I don't get to it this week. I had another surgery yesterday. Yeah, we're going to leave this one here for now. Thank you for watching. Please remember that this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinions, not facts. If you feel anxious, if you feel like you get to a point where there's something that you mentally are struggling to handle, literally grab your Bible and open to a page, put your finger on it, and maybe ask for specific guidance or specific response, or you'll get one. Especially in times like this, God's not leaving his children hanging. You just have to seek him. They want to make you feel like it's hopeless when it's not. Please remember that this is an energy reading, alleged, my opinion, not facts. Thanks for watching.